What is poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at another film review, and today we're taking a look at the final in the trilogy of unknowns that we have recently taken a look at. This is the final Crow movie that has ever been released. This one came out in 2005. This one came out 2 years after I was born, and it is called The Crow Wicked Prayer. And this one is... I don't know. I'll talk about it a little bit in the future, but this Crow is by far the strongest Crow in all the Crow franchises. It's just a shame that he was very underutilized and was in a pretty shit movie that isn't very well known. And I'm gonna be honest, I did not enjoy watching this movie. It was very meh. It was alright. But without any further delay, let's take a look at what Google has to say. So, The Crow Wicked Prayer. It's a 2005 action horror movie, which is an hour and 39 minutes. You can watch this on YouTube, Amazon Prime, or Google Play. It has a 4 out of 5 on Amazon and a 3 out of 10 on IMDb. Luke Crash, and the ruthless leader of the sadistic biker gang, brutally kills Jimmy and his fiancée. However, Jimmy is mysteriously revived and sets out to seek revenge. So, we have the mines being closed to build a casino, and this starts a biker gang sort of trying to stop that and trying to keep the mines open so that the town has loads of jobs. And they are called the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse. They're called war, like famine, disease, and there's another one, death as well. And these 4 guys, and the Crow kills them all one by one, but they kill them in a ritual so that the main girl steals the girlfriend's eyes and kills her in front of him, and they take out his heart to summon the devil into him, into Death's body, so they can do a ritual to obviously have the power of Satan. And they throw his body into the river. He gets out, he carries his girlfriend's body back to her shop, cries, puts on very crappy makeup. This is the worst makeup I've ever seen in the Crow franchise, and it changes all the way through the movie. It changes length, it changes like direction, the angle of his sort of like flicks at the bottom change direction and change sort of angle. They get bigger and smaller as the movie goes on. I'm gonna be honest, the makeup department fucked up royally with this one. It did not do very good, and he just looked like an emo. He looked like an emo all the way through this movie. Like, he was 100% just an emo the entire time. He has a lot of special powers. He can teleport, he has super strength, he has super fucking speed, and he has great agility, and he's bulletproof. Like, he doesn't get damaged from bullets, like, he doesn't feel pain, and he doesn't bleed either, which is fucking wild. Yeah, he's the strongest Crow by far. He's the one that can teleport, which I think is fucking immaculate, by the way. But yeah, he hunts them down, he kills them all one by one, like he does throughout all the Crow movies, and he gets to the other 2, and they go to a pimp who marries them, and he becomes Satan, and they now have to fuck to seal the deal. So they go to a graveyard to fuck, and they have a massive brawl, and one of them dies because the Crow kills them, and the other one loses their eyes because the spell was not completed, so her eyes disappear, and she tries to change her mind at the end as well. Once the Crow defeats them, she tries to change her mind and goes back to God's side instead of Satan's side, so her soul goes to heaven instead of hell. And he goes into heaven and finds his girlfriend, and they kiss, and we have a slow zoom out to a credit roll. That's the movie. Pretty basic, pretty bare bones. Again, this movie, the premise of this movie felt like it should have been the one that came out in the 2000s. Like, just the way this film was filmed, the story, the actors, the acting, it felt like it was a downgrade to the 2001. Everything felt a lot cheaper, everything felt a lot lower quality, and it just felt like a downgrade in story, and a downgrade in set design, a downgrade in costume, a downgrade in actors from the 2000s one. So I don't really know. Like, this one came out in 2005. I expected better. I expected the Crows to get better in actors, to get better in quality, to get better in CGI, to get better in this, that, and the other as they went on. No, this one was a fucking downgrade. This one is the outlier. This one is the red herring that makes you question, like, who made this movie? And the fact that it came out in 2005 as well, which is 2 years after I was born. Fun fact for you. I'm going to be honest, the story was pretty interesting. This one had more supernatural aspects to it. Again, it is called a horror, but I wouldn't really call it that. I would call it more gore than anything because it had a lot more blood and death than scares. There wasn't many scares, there wasn't many jump scares, this wasn't a scary movie. This definitely wasn't a horror. This was definitely more gore, like a thriller, more than a sort of horror. And the characters, I'm going to be honest, weren't that exciting. They weren't that sort of connectable. He just kind of seemed like a goth. Again, like I said, he just seems like a goth. That's it. He doesn't really seem much of a threat. He just feels like a goth kid, like an angsty teen coming to get revenge on his parents. Like, he wasn't a big threat. And he wasn't a really relatable character either. Again, we seem to have gone back to the killing of the girlfriend trope and sort of coming back to protect the girlfriend and coming back to sort of get revenge for the girlfriend, which we disappeared from one Crow. We had a child for one, but when he changed into the devil as well, his acting style changed and it just went from bad to shit. Like, when he was being the devil, he was trying to have like this Jim Carrey vibe to him, this very sort of crazy, sadistic, sort of upbeat, wild, charismatic sort of ability, and he did not carry that well. He did not reach any of those marks. I could see what he was trying to do, he just didn't do it, and it came off as cringe, it came off as bad, and I feel like they could have got a better actor to do that. Again, I don't know, like, who was making this movie, what the budget was, or anything like that, but I feel like a better actor for him being the devil could have been, you know, better utilized. We also had a pretty interesting set design. I thought the sets were pretty cool. We had a sex church, which I thought was fucking wild, I'm gonna be honest. Like, a sex church is fucking wild. We had a pretty interesting town, a pretty interesting caravan, a couple of bars, and a lot of nice set design. I thought that was cool. The set design was really nicely done. Costume design was pretty shit. Like, they all just wore pretty basic clothes, and he just looked goth, I'm gonna be honest. He did not feel like the Crow. He did just feel like an angsty teen who was going through a phase, but is gonna shout at you, telling you that it's not a phase. He did not seem Crow-like to me in the slightest. And Johnny Bravo, that's what he reminded me of. Johnny fucking Bravo. When they got married and he became the quote-unquote devil, he just reminded me of Johnny Bravo. And the pimp wasn't... like, I could not take him seriously. Like, he was calling everyone bitch, calling everyone hoe, saying, like, you know, gangster, the original G, my homie, my homes. He was saying all this gangster slang, these gangster words, and he wasn't doing it, like, convincingly. It was really shit, and I was just laughing anytime he spoke, because I just thought it was funny with how he was acting and how he was going about it. It was just... it kind of felt more comedic than anything else, because I found a lot of this movie funny. It was that bad it was funny. And I had a good time watching it. I had a good laugh. I actually watched this with my nana and with my granddad. We were having our tea watching this movie, and like I said in the other Crow movies, we were watching all of the Crows as like a series, ready for the new one. And oh, none of us liked this one. None of us had any good things to say about this one. We was all thankful that we finally finished all the Crows, because this one was the fucking nail in the coffin. This one was the last one, and I'm pretty sure I'm gonna put this one at 4th. Out of all 5 crows, this one was like the 4th because of how shit it was. Like, this one, if I could rank them, I'm gonna put like 2024 in 1st. I'm gonna put the 2001 2nd, the original one, the 1990s one, in 3rd, this one in 4th, and then the 1995 one in 5th. I hope I got that in the right order. That's my ranking of the crows. This one is a solid 4th. It's better than one of them, worse than the other 3. Gonna be honest, it just wasn't it. The whole sort of demonic, sort of demon, sort of summoning ritual completely went over my fucking head, and I'm pretty sure it went over theirs as well. None of them really knew what was going on. They had this spell book, and they were reading it, but they didn't read the whole spell. They did one page, and then were like, oh, what do we gotta do next? So they would read the next page, and they were like, oh shit, we gotta do this. And then they went to the next page, and they're like, oh, we gotta do that as well? And it just seemed like every time they went to do another part of the spell, they were shocked at what they had to do. And it's like, surely you read the whole spell first before you go and do it. Like, you need to know what you're doing before you do it. Like, you can't just go in, try and do something, because if you fuck it up or get something wrong, you're messing with powers that are beyond your comprehension. You're messing with the devil. You're making a deal with the devil. So you need to be spot on here. You need to be correct. You need to be right. And it just did not seem like a very expensive movie. I can't give it any more than a 5.